Because they actually don't believe that church is the answer for it. We know it is, but they don't. So we need to come back and provide them with the information that they need. We need to give them, we need to be going out there and telling them this is what God is on about. It's showing them, giving them experience. For those in business, if people aren't buying your products or services, it's because they don't believe that your products or services are the right thing. So we need to upgrade them and give them new information. Can you see this is how marketing people work? That's why they keep bombarding us with, pretty sexy girls and saying, if you buy this, you'll get this. And so we believe that, hey, I want that, so if I buy that product, I will get that. So it's how things work. That was a real light bulb for me. Because it started to question me about, well, what do I believe that is causing me to act the way I do? It also reminded me of George Washington Carver. And some of you may not know who that man is, but he was the man who invented peanut paste, which, by the way, a quarter of the peanuts in the world now go into making peanut paste. And how that came about was that he was encouraging farmers in the area to grow peanuts because they were good for the area there was in Atlanta, around there, Georgia, somewhere around there. And but the problem was then they had all these peanuts they didn't know what to do with. So what did he do? He was a man of God, a man of prayer, and he went back to God and said, God, what do we do with the peanut? And God said, actually break down what are all the properties of the peanut, have a look at the properties of the peanut, and then put them back together in a way that makes useful products. He made over 300 products from peanuts. Why? Because he listened to God and got more information that allowed him to change and do different things. This is why I'm such a believer that we need to know how to hear the voice of God, because it's the information that we need that will cause us to change. This is why you need to read your Word of God, because the Word of God is truth. And as we get the truth into us, it will bring about the change in our lives. We have to go back to the basics of doing it. I want to share with you another model. Let's go back. So this is us. All of us have beliefs. Where do those beliefs come from? A lot of them come from our parents. Don't we love our parents? They come from our parents, from society, from the media, and hopefully for us, from the Bible. God. So with those beliefs, we also have needs and priorities. A priority, or what we're doing right now, is purely an activated belief. So it was funny during the week, watching the news, people just wanted milk. Did you see how crazy they went over milk? I'm thinking, okay, that's exactly what you believe right now, that you need milk, and that milk will solve all your problems. That's the way. I remember vividly seeing one guy, I just want milk. And I'm thinking, I hope that's not all you want. But that was his priority at that point in time. From all of this, we make conclusions about how our life should look. And I call this our picture of life. I'm sure all of you have a picture about how your life should look. I'm sure we have a picture about how church should look. The problem is a lot of people have very different pictures about how church should look, and then you bring them all together and we have problems. So I'm going to actually call this another thing called a goal box. Well, these are the things that we are subconsciously and consciously working towards in life. So they may be, I don't know, a house, a car, family, work, and the list can go on. All the things that we are aiming for or working towards in life. The problem, there's a couple of problems with that. Number one, we attach our self-worth to that. So when we gain these things, our self-worth goes up. When we lose them, our self-worth goes down. So what are we seeing this week? We're seeing a lot of people's dreams go. Their goals are gone. And they're going to equate that to who they are as a person, and they're going to feel their self-worth goes down. And I'm going to talk about what happens when that happens in a minute. One of the problems that we have in life is that we expect that once we put this goal in place, once you put this dream in place, that it's just going to happen. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? I want this kind of a house. So magically, it happens. The problem is that we have all sorts of events that take place in life. So all along this path, we have various events that take place. Now, I am going to talk about my life here. Okay, so growing up, Mum and Dad had a business that went belly up. Things didn't go my way. As a result of that, Dad actually ended up in jail because there was some mishandling of trust monies. Life was not going to plan. Soon after that, my mum died. Life is going downhill. You may be thinking of other events that you've had in your life. What did I do? I decided that that wasn't going to happen to me. So I started to control things, and that's why I did my accounting degree, so that the same thing that happened to my parents wouldn't happen to me. And so I started to control life. But then when I got one of my dream jobs, everything went very pear-shaped, and I actually ended up in depression. And I got to the stage, so I'm going to write the word depression down here. And another word for that is why bother. She can get to the stage of why bothering. The problem with that is it actually makes you feel worth less. And if you keep going down that track, you will check out. Now you know what I'm talking about when I say check out? Commit suicide. I had a meeting last Friday, the Friday before, where the guy with the meeting told me that he knows a funeral director who just did 20 suicides in 1 week just before Christmas in the Redlands area. 20. This is not that far from us. So it was on Friday. On Monday I had to go to a funeral in Melbourne, and my uncle's a funeral director, and I said to him, is this real? Like, did I hear the right stuff? He does funerals in Bendigo, and it's not unusual for him to do up to 5 suicides a week. We're talking major problems. I got a phone call before Christmas to say, Wes, you need to come back down to Gundawindi because we're frightened that our farmers are going to commit suicide. Because, now this was before Christmas, before what's happened now. Because what they're worried about is that the drought had come to an end, and all their money that they were getting with that had come to an end. Then their crop had failed because of the weather. And there was no likelihood of financial support, but thankfully that seems to have turned around now. Gundawindi had 20 farmers commit suicide last year. It's because they feel worth less. So, one of the things I find out with the floods is that this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. So what do? There are 3 incorrect assumptions that we can make in life. 1, we feel like we're on the wrong path. So when things start to happen, when they're not going the way that we had planned for them to happen, we feel like we're on the wrong path. The other thing we feel like is that we're missing out.
I think that battery's gone flat. Can you hear it? Cutting in and out.
And the third one is what we call could have, should have.
Unless it's in his pocket, it's wobbled a bit. That's almost over anyway.
I'm going to give you a handout in a moment so you can take these away with you, okay?